Such a lovely vibe.
You know what that means. That means Midway Radio is back. It's your boy Carlos Gomez, and this week we're going to be talking to one of our. That means Midway Radio is back. I hear mad echo. Is that just on my end?
Yeah. Nope, I hear it too.
What is going on? I hope that's not me.
That's coming from Greed. You got another window up with the YouTube.
Oh, let's see. I don't know. Let's see.
Yeah, close the tab that the actual YouTube is.
Oh yeah.
Greed, you got another window up with the YouTube.
Testing.
Yo.
Okay, yeah. I think you got it. Let's try that. Let's try that again. Now, for real, everybody, we are back. It's boy Carlos Gomez. We are talking to Olskool Ice-Gre.
What it do? Yeah. I'm trying to figure out, do I look right in here or do I look here?
Hey, look wherever you want.
Look at the camera. Yeah, it takes a lot of getting used to, because you'll be looking here, and then when someone else talks, you flip and then you look down and you get. So when we see you start foaming at the mouth and like shaking all crazy, we'll take a break.
Okay, thank you.
Until that happens, welcome. All right, let's go around the horn and welcome. Let's start with him since he popped up on my screen. DJ Risky Business is here.
Yo, what's up? Hey guys.
I'm gonna go ahead and point this out. When you do things like this and you don't say anything, we can't really hear you, and folks might not be able to hear you either.
You can't hear me?
I don't know how many folks hear sign language, but oh hey, my brother DJ Sean Doe is here.
Yo, what's up, everybody?
See how it's done, Risky?
I've only done this 20 times.
Oh, and he's back, y'all. The guy who's driving the bus. Director. Ryan Brockmeyer.
Bus driver's back, y'all.
Ryan get the studio audience applause.
Because he was gone for a minute.
Yeah, he was gone for a minute.
I missed him. Don't judge me.
I want to say thank you to you guys for holding the fort down while I was gone, and it's nice to hear the soothing sounds of Doug Infinite there, giving us our intro music. So shout out to Doug.
It was so good we did it twice.
Okay.
So welcome everyone. If you guys are watching live, feel free to hit that chat panel. Let us know what's on your mind. Give us a little shout out. Let us know who you are. And then I'm gonna go ahead and say this: if your name is like 25 consonants, let us know what your real name is, so we don't. So we're not trying to figure out who Xylophone Maniac is or whatever it is that you guys use. Anyway, go ahead and use that chat panel. We're here. So any pertinent updates?
Not any pertinent updates at this time. We could have some potential ones coming up in the next couple of weeks, and we're going to be part of Artistic's book release party that's coming up in November. I forget the actual date of it.
It's November 10th.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So we got something cool for that, and then we'll have a cool Midway Radio announcement at the end of the show for one of our next upcoming shows. We got a really dope guest. So
Oh,
Not that our current guest
can we-
isn't.
I was
Can we hit?
about to jump in too. Like, wait a minute, I'm pretty fresh.
You're always special.
He's like-
You're always special.
He's like, excuse me for doing everything that I've done.
Right, I'm a lightweight G up in this thing.
Right.
No. What up, Gree? How are you doing, man? Thanks for hopping on with us. Sorry about the technical difficulties we had to start the show, but
Oh man, it's all good. It wouldn't be right without the technical difficulties, right?
nah.
Listen, if you want fine-tuned and refined action, help us find a budget.
Right. No,
I did that. I took it there.
Man.
So what's going on, brother? How's life?
Man, outstanding. Life is amazing these days, man. I'm just, heavy into the music, back working with my main man. Like, it's all good, man. I have no complaints right now at all.
You've been obviously everyone knows Gree. Well, if you don't, Gree has been a Chicago MC. When I say way back, he's been here at the beginning. And he was part of a group called Abstract Mind State, which was very important. They were very influential to a lot of people, and they broke a lot of ground for a lot of people. And then he went on to he had a slew of releases that he worked with many artists, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But also, you went on to artist management as well.
Yeah,
which was a huge thing.
Yeah.
Right. Let me ask you a question about that. Like, how much of a pain in the ass is that?
Oh, that's the biggest one. Like, artist management is like I don't have any kids, but artist management is you got
close. How many folks you bump into that they're like, okay, yeah, I want to do that show, but I only want green M&Ms. Every other one has to have peanuts.
Man, artist management is definitely something you gotta love.
One second.
Sure. Very selfless position.
Yeah, I mean, how many artists are you managing now? Because I mean, back when I was just doing Mike One, I mean, well, obviously if you know Mike One, then you know how much of a handful he was by himself. But I just had one artist and would get crazy with it. How many people you represent and have to look out for?
Let me tell you, like right now, as we speak, it's funny what I'm doing. Like with honest management, I'm not representing anybody right now. I took a break from honest management. It still exists, and I'm concentrating on something called G2 Productions. Me and my partner, my main man, DJ Self-Born, that you all probably remember as Greg D from the Outfitters in Chicago.
Yes.
We teamed up and formed something called G2 because both of our names is Greg, so it's like Greg and Greg. So G2 Productions is just like the Greg and Greg show. And he's the producer. I'm the writer because outside of I mean, my foundation definitely was being an MC.
Right.
But through all of the things I did, like you all probably familiar with some of I put out 2 albums on Trezana McClendon. That was a soul singer. She was a soulful R&B singer who I wrote like 4 songs on each of her albums. So the point is, I'm the pen and he's the production. So that's what I've been concentrating. I've been operating as a production company as of lately. And what I have on my hands right now is an artist by the name of John Kia Rose. And she has, we're releasing a 2-part EP. Episode 1 is already out, and 2 5-song EPs, and we did a video for every song. So, John Kia, she's young in it. We're just getting her feet, getting her feet wet in this thing. So the whole thing, it's only, I think, about 6 months old, and it's not like she have a hell of a lot of views. One of her videos, have a nice amount of views, but she in the building phases, man. So I'm really into her right now. Me and Self-Born and I are working on getting episode 2 of the EP out. Once we get the last video out, because we had a big break in between, we were releasing a video every month for like 4 months, and then the 5th video we just haven't got it edited yet. A lot has happened with me that made me pretty busy over so things kind of you know, got shaken up. But we're gonna get to that last video regardless to when it is. We don't care because it's just this new music business is no time on this thing anymore. So
speaking of new music business, what's is there anything noticeably different that you're doing or need to do now that you're actually in LA and the West Coast and another entertainment hub as to what you would do in Chicago?
Yeah, I mean, okay, well, one of the bigger things that I'm involved in is I'm back working with Kanye. So you know, again, I was the first A&R of Good Music. Now I'm back being the A&R at Good Music. And actually Kanye brought me back in to for him specifically, actually brought me back into A&R Ye. So I'm sure you all heard of all of the stories about Wyoming and all that, what was going on out there. That was amazing. That was the most creative and fun time I've had probably since I've been in the music business, because I got to befriend, well, one of the people that I got to befriend, and he's my drinking buddy now, is Nas. And Nas is like the coolest dude that's breathing, you know, and it was such an honor to be Kanye, you know, allowed me to he believes in me. He believes in my creativity and what the energy and creativeness that he considers me one of his genius level creatives. And you know, he put me in a room with some people that, you know, he and I both honored, you know, for years, and Nas being one of them. And it was just an amazing time, man, being back, you know, and I say being back with him because, you know, some of you guys know Kanye's not my beginning. Actually, I had my own beginning, but me and him had a really good run. And then we took a break for a few years. No beef, never fell out. It's just, you know, he had to get life and grow up and get married and have kids. And, you know, he was moving around. And then
typical life stuff.
Life just happened, you know. And but, you know, once he got back and settled down a bit, you know, and you know, he dealt with things he dealt with, he called me up and was like, yo, you know, let's get back together. Let's make history again, you know. And now I'm back with the homie, and it has been the most amazing, like almost 2 years now that I've had in this thing, you know.
Nice.
Yeah, I remember seeing the reunion, then you guys with the birthday party and everything like that. With, you know, without going into like a huge thing, can you just maybe just give kind of an overall of what the idea was behind these EPs and the big projects and going to Wyoming? Because I mean just it was so different and cool, and like a lot of people obviously weren't really expecting that.
Yeah, let me. I just want to speak a little bit to what everybody saw. I didn't even know we were all on TMZ and everything. You talking about the Chloe's birthday party where everybody saw like me, Kanye, and Cootie hugging and that whole thing? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Or you talking about my birthday party?
I think it was your birthday party.
But my birthday party, yeah, that was out in Wyoming. Okay, so let me explain to you what Wyoming is about and what that is, because it's like what Wyoming is so for Kanye at this point in his life. You know, he puts a lot of focus and concentration on Yeezy. So LA, or Calabasas, as everyone knows now, is the Yeezy hub. That's the you know, that's home base for Yeezy. And when he's here, he's concentrating on designing and, you know, creating apparel. In order for him to get his, you know, to remove the distractions to concentrate on music, we go somewhere away from, because this is considered not, I don't want to say all of it is work, but you know what I'm saying? That's a different level of work for him. So he has to get away from LA, or he'll continue to work on designs and stuff like that. So he feels for him to become the, you know, when he wants to touch with the music, it's time to leave LA and let's go to different places. So we've gone to various places, man. It's been amazing. Like, since I've been back with him, we've been to China, Japan, Berlin, and a couple of more places. I'm just slipping my Aspen. Like, we've been to a lot of places just being creative with the music, you know. And he gets away to these wonderful places with these views, because if the people who truly understand Kanye knows he's truly like a genius level cat who like vibes off of the aesthetics, the energy, he needs all of that. So
aesthetics is a a good word to describe the vibe that he needs to put himself in.
Exactly. And that's why you notice the places I named, think about how it looks, including Wyoming. Like, I'm gonna be honest, Wyoming is a place that if you would have gave me 2,000 choices to go to just to experience, Wyoming probably more than likely 100% wouldn't have been one of them. Now, I can't wait to take everybody I know there because Wyoming, man.
Well, yeah, you don't think about it until you experience the peace that it brings.
Yeah, the man, just waking up. Like I'm in, you know, I'm in LA, so I get the mountains and all of that stuff, but it's different in Wyoming. You know what I mean? That's like outside of Aspen. This is the thing about Wyoming. Outside of Aspen, Jackson Hole, Wyoming is the #1 ski place in the world. You know, it's Aspen, then it's Jackson Hole, and then in the summer, that same place becomes the #1 place for whitewater rafting. So, you know, it's way more popping in Jackson Hole, Wyoming than you could ever believe. You know, and just it's just a place, man, that when you start breathing that air in and looking at that scenery, man, you can't help but create your greatest creations. You know.
Can I ask? Let me ask a little bit about that, like being in a room with someone like Kanye, because I'm gonna go ahead and put everybody on here on blast. When all of us are in the same room, we have to get through so much preliminary dumb shit, and then we finally start asking questions and answering questions and getting things done. And maybe you're like this too, because you and Kanye, we can't just pin it all on Kanye. You and Kanye got together, made some magic. Like, is it like that with you guys too? Like, do you guys have to look at each other and say, will you shut up and focus?
No, it's funny because in the room with Ye is like, what do I call it? It's like being it's like being on the Bulls in the 90s. You know how like we just had a great squad and like you had like 5 cats that just, you know, and I equate the 5 to whoever is that he decides can be in a room and part of this creative circle that he puts together. And it's just like a whole bunch of high level players passing the ball to each other. You know what I'm saying? Because Ye is a lot more collaborative and open than a lot of people. You know, he has this perception or this mystique that he's probably, you know, maybe hard to deal with, maybe a guy that's probably not going to listen to your ideas or a whole bunch of things. But actually, the funny thing, one of his really close friends said, and I'll use it, anything you think about him is actually the opposite. So whatever in your mind, you like, man, he probably, you know, it's the other way. It's the direct opposite of what you think. He's the most, juxtaposition, you know, the whole like.
Yeah, the public opinion of him, or the public perception, not opinion, but the public perception of him is whatever they want to think it is, but it's not the truth.
Yeah, exactly. It actually is everything but the truth. You know what I'm saying? So, you know,
and I think those are some of the ghosts that you have to wrestle with when you are at that level, because not everyone operates at that level.
Right.
And you can see, like in his interviews and stuff like that, he's trying to express himself in a way that is so much deeper than normal folks can comprehend. And I think that's kind of what trips him up. And then he comes off as like people don't know what the hell he's talking about. But
I think when he writes it and it comes out in a rhyme, it's different than when he's like trying to figure something out on the spot. Like,
definitely.
You know, and I get all of us are in that same position when we try to think, because you're trying to find. The thing is when he's writing, he can think of the perfect words to create it. You can see when he's trying to do something else and it's on the spot, he's trying to create the perfect words to explain it, but that's not something that's nobody can really. You got to think about it.
Nobody can really do that, and it kind of gets you in some, you know, tripped out corners.
I mean, that's the thing is, you know, it's funny. And again, it's that rock star thing. And here's something that's my opinion. Kanye is the last Kanye, Eminem, and they happen to be rappers, but I'm going to use this phrase because I think it goes to everybody, is there's no more rock stars.
That's true. True.
Okay, and although it's hip hop and rap, Kanye and Eminem and Jay-Z, they're rock star level. They are Led Zeppelin, not American culture, but world culture changing rock star levels. And the way music is now and the way it's received and the way we get the music, there's so many things that have changed that the kids, I don't even know if kids care about anything as far as rock stars anymore, because everything's so disposable now with these artists. And the public, the kids that love these artists, they only love them for a week.
Yeah, exactly. It's because we're oversaturated. Oversaturated,
and they're fine with disposing of someone who they would live and die for musically on Monday, and by Tuesday of the next week, they're like, okay, now it's Lil Pump, you know. And again, I'm not knocking the artists. I'm saying culture and the game has changed. One of the biggest things that I think was a mistake of the industry is the loss of physical music.
Yep.
Because
I agree with that.
When we were kids and you could get a record, a cassette, and a CD, which were virtually the same thing, you could grab that piece of music and you could have something that physically bonds you to the artist.
Exactly.
Had that connection, you would open up, you would see the photos, you would look at the liner notes, you would smell the ink, or you would smell the gloss on a cassette. You know, remember that when you got the cassettes and you had that like high gloss and you would smell it?
I'm a cassette collector, so yes.
Yeah, and it was like extra sensory connections that would connect you. And one of the first rock star moments I remember as a kid was sitting with my cousin and how emotionally attached she was to her Journey record.
Right.
And how she would look at the back and she was obsessed with Steve Perry.
Right.
And,
who wasn't really?
Well, I mean, it's like 79, 80, 81. And I remember seeing her having that like emotional connection to this guy. And this is obviously before internet, everything like that. And there was such a connection and she felt so connected to the band. Now everything's so disposable and everything's so ones and zeros, binary.
Yeah, binary.
There are no more rock stars. And I think that Kanye and Eminem are the two that I can think of, and Jay-Z. Those are really the three. And Beyonce, I'll throw Beyonce in there.
Right.
That's the end of the rock stars. And I don't think there's going to be rock stars anymore.
Rock star too, Rihanna.
Yeah, I don't think Rihanna's dope. Me personally, I don't think she's on their level. Like they're mega rock stars. I think she's on that like next tier down, in my opinion. But
here's the thing that makes Rihanna like falls definitely in that rock star category, because even during the best ages of the rock stars, there were levels to rock stars. You know, it was a bigger rock star.
I agree.
But I'll say this: you know, Rihanna, out of everybody you named, Rihanna is the only one that can do anything and it doesn't affect her career. Agreed. That's rock star. That's rock star. Rihanna Rihanna can be full fucking consistent. I mean, it doesn't hurt her career. You know, Rihanna can curse or she can talk, you know, with some sense. She can drink, smoke, or she can just be poised. Nothing affects Rihanna. That's rock star shit.
I felt Amy Winehouse was going to be that until obviously she passed.
Yeah, you know, she didn't get enough time, you know, and that was, you know.
Yeah, but I think that era's done, and I think Kanye represents the last of the dying breed of that. And I don't think there's going to be rock stars anymore. Just the game's different.
Yeah, it's just different now, and that's what makes him so interesting. And you know, he becomes a conversation all the time and for everything because of that mystique of, like you say, of a rock star. He definitely encompasses that. You know.
Yeah.
Speaking a little bit more of it in a general term like that, and then. You know, with some of the new artists that you're working with, do you think it's possible for okay, I mean, Risky already said last of a dying breed. Do you think it's possible for a newer artist now to reach that level and have that sustaining power?
Man, you know what? It's so much what I want to say. I don't know. I'll say I don't know simply because I have to leave room for the unexpected, you know. So I'm gonna say I don't know, but I'm gonna say I don't know with a leaning a little more towards maybe not, but I can't say that fully.
We haven't seen anybody last yet.
And I say maybe not simply because the things that's important to the supporters, you know, and the fan base now is was the least important thing before. Like the, you know what I mean? Like the things that they want to know, and it was the true fans always wanted to know all the details. But now, because of social media, it puts you a little too close. So the mystique that the Princes and the Michael Jacksons and the early Janets carried, it doesn't exist anymore, because now we see everything they do.
There's nothing left to mystery.
Yeah, the mystery has been taken away, and we can actually get to them and get them mad. If you good enough with your words, you can get a very high level artist upset, because you can get to them in their, whether it's on one of those social media, so many different outlets that we can touch them. And it just takes away from the fun for me personally. So to your question, like the artists I'm working with, I would love to see like a Jonkia Rose become like an R&B great, because she's a young chick. She's like only like 26 or something like that. But she's what I feel like is what R&B, what Self-Born did a mixtape, the way we want to hear R&B. That's what she sounds like, the way we want to hear R&B music. And you know, people like Anita Baker, even like Faith Evans, and you know, early Mary and all of that. That stuff, man, is like forever. And the way her music is, and the closest person to me that sounds like, man, R&B like I want to hear it. And it's a lot of new artists and a lot of artists from over in the UK that I'm vibing out to now. Nice. But a lot of them, but it's like, you know, when we talk about on a late very popular level or known level with Solange's record. Solange's record just was some cool R&B, and you know, and I only named her just because I didn't want to get underground. I was trying to name somebody that's, you know, pretty known. I know she's not as known as her sister, but she's pretty known, and that's the way I want to hear R&B, like the way she did it, you know. So I'm hoping that I can get, my goal is to get Jonkia Rose to, you know, I don't really, she's not a pop Beyonce artist, so I'm not even expecting that, but I would love to get her to at least like a career artistry level, you know, somebody who can just do it and just, you know, make money living off live shows, you know. So.
How did you make the decision to get into making music and stuff like that?
Well, okay. I thought you was about to say, how did I make a decision to get more into the production company instead of management? Because I was about, I got that answer for you. Exactly.
Oh, you can do that too.
That'll be the next one. Thank you.
But off camera, we was talking about management and how crazy it is, you know, just working with artists and stuff like that. And that's what happened. I ended up deciding to concentrate more on being a production company because I was tired of babysitting artists. That's the shortest answer. I was just tired of the babysitting because, I mean, you know, Sean don't know, you know, Risky knows, you know, that I've spent significant amount of time with a lot of artists in Chicago who I helped them make a name for themselves.
You developed a lot of people. You helped develop people.
Yeah, I've developed more artists than I want to even mention, you know, and even in several from that wasn't from Chicago that made it to like BET in the fight, you know, and to just, you know, several places, man. And they get to this point, every artist gets to this point that unfortunately that I represented. And I think because I made it a little too easy for them because of my relationships, my connections, who I was and the way they looked at me, you know, and they knew I started out with the homies. So it was like, everybody told me they want that. And I said, okay, you can have that. But the only difference between them and like somebody like that's a Kanye level is the work ethic. And nobody had the work ethic. It was like, I found myself as a manager working harder than the artist. And that's crazy. And I did it over and over until I was tired of the results because it only got so far. And then when it was really time for them where I couldn't do the work and it was all on them, then it just didn't get done and the project falters. And you know, like it's that same thing, man. So I had to take myself out of that conversation.
Artists gotta want to help themselves, man.
Yeah, they do. They have to want it themselves. And you know what's funny, Risky? Like that sounds like a simple statement. Artists have to want it themselves. That sounds like a flat, easy statement. Man, that statement is so complicated. Because, you know, you would think just because they do it, they do want it. But I learned the hard way that that's not true. Just because they do it, they don't necessarily want it. They may want everything that comes with the success after you put the work in, but they don't want that road to the, you know, that road to success. They don't want that in between, you know. So that caused me to concentrate more on being a production company. So now I can just, you know, be strictly creative, man. I can concentrate on my pen. I can write great songs for them. I can develop them. I am an A&R. I can A&R the project, you know, and that feels good because it's still on them to become the artist they want to become. But I can lend my creative resources and not be responsible for them, almost like a parent, you know. So that's why, you know, I'm kind of like more G2 Productions than Honest Management these days. But Honest is not over. Honest Management is still sitting there. I'm still paying my very expensive annual fees on that company.
I honestly don't think that you could ever step away from development either, because I think it's part of the nature of what you are.
Right. Definitely development. Definitely.
I know you could say, fuck this, I'm done with these kids, I don't want to do this shit. But then you'll see something, you know, you can tell them and give them advice and change, and you'll be like, Greg, I gotta say it.
Okay,
right.
Fine.
Right. And like I say, I've tried to walk away several times, and then I'll be like, man, ooh, this person got it. If I could just, and then I find myself in that, you know, in that circle again of working a little bit harder than them. So, like I say, I got a good one on my hands now. Jonkia Rose is really a very she works hard. That's what I say. She works hard, you know. But yeah,
hey,
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I don't want to bust you out, but I'm gonna bust you out a little bit.
It's been nice having you on the show, Risky.
Right.
So I was going through an old record, and I was looking at this, and it's Farley Jackmaster Funk, the legendary Farley Jackmaster Funk.
Yeah, man.
And there's a Taco Bops is on this record, right?
Yeah, that's my man.
Yeah, right?
Turn that thing over, man. The way that turn that thing over, that Peace Posse record is on there.
Okay, we got the Peace Posse.
The Peace Posse, man. It's time to party. That was my group, man. So that story, the Peace Posse.
Nice.
First of all, yeah, the Peace Posse, man, was me and my best friend from high school. Still my best friend to this day. Actually, he gets credit for me and EP being a group because he was the one that told me and her actually sound good together and we should form a group. So he gets so much love because, you know, he stepped away from it and told me I should rap with EP. You know what I mean, at the time. But anyway, it's time to party. So that was a situation I lived in, like I just said earlier when we was off camera. I lived, you know, I'm from Inglewood in Chicago, and I stayed on 72nd and Perry. I lived next to a park called Memorial Park, which is known and notorious on the South Side. But Memorial Park was known for the basketball players in that park, and we just happened to have a few creative cats around the way. And one of the cats that's on that record, his name is MC Zone. He was working with Farley, and he came to me and he was like, "Yo, man, he looking for some more artists, and y'all, you know, y'all Peace Posse, y'all so dope. I want to plug you, you know, and see if you know y'all can get on this record." Long story short, at the time, Farley was living with his parents on 95th over there in Evergreen, and man, we went over to his crib. It was the most amazing experience because, you know, Farley was a damn super, talking about rock star. To us, Farley was a rock star then, you know. We talking the late 80s, you know. And man, I went over there and Farley heard our demo, and then he gave us a beat, and we went home and made a song to it, came back to his crib and recorded in his parents' basement. That was his studio at the time. I mean, he had a full-fledged CRC looking studio in his parents' basement. It was amazing. But, you know, they lived in Evergreen though, so you know how the houses look over there and that whole, you know, so they had a big nice crib. But man, we laid that thing down, man, and we ended up on that record that you just held up to the camera, and that was when my group was called Peace Posse, you know. And we used to we was a name, man. We used to hang out at KKC with Pink House, you know, and at that time it used to be us and this group called the Proper Posse, and 10K, what was the 10 Tray posse was happening then, and
a lot of posses going on.
There was a lot of posses. It was a bunch of posses. Yeah,
it was right about the time that the movie Posse came out.
Right, you know what I'm saying? So yeah,
speaking
man.
Of Posse, happy birthday to Big Daddy Kane. Didn't he just turn 50 yesterday or today?
Yeah.
Oh, dope.
I held that record up and brought it out just because I wanted to make sure that people understood your roots.
Yeah, man.
Like you're not someone who just showed up and then you go back to the beginning of Chicago's hip hop foundation.
Yeah.
And part of that foundation was hip house and really
record hip house. yeah. Man, I'm proud. You know, it's funny. I'm just now starting to realize the true impact we had and what Abstract Mind State did, what we meant to the city. I mean,
absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just now really grasping that whole thing because I'm gonna tell you a moment I had not too long ago. I was in the studio with Kanye, and I was in the studio maybe a few weeks ago, it was just a few weeks ago. And DJ Clark Kent came in, and I had never met Clark Kent. Y'all might have seen a picture of us on Instagram, but from that meeting. But I always knew him I always knew who he was. I mean, that's the legendary DJ Clark Kent.
Yeah.
You know, and then I was always one person away from him, especially through Tone B. Nimble. You know, because Tone B, you've heard me tell the stories. Tone B, for a semester, I've been knowing Tone since college, and for a semester, he was actually my college roommate. He lived with me. So at the time that he became a Superman, when Clark Kent made him a Superman, he was staying with me at the time, practicing for the DMC competition on my cousin's dresser. He had his turntables on my cousin's dresser. And when he went out there to New York and they kept bumping the table and messing up his performance, man, Tone was like, after him and Andy C went out there, and he was going off, and although he didn't win the competition, which he could have, he was that good, but he let his attitude about them bumping the table go too far. But Clark Kent noticed his skill and came to him after it and asked him to become a Superman. And so let's just say I had a love for Clark Kent since then, because I was like, man, he put my boy on and made him a Superman, and that was a big deal for us then, And so when Clark Kent walked in the room, I knew his face, but I didn't know it was him. And he dapped me up, and Kanye was talking to me, and he was like, oh, so what you doing with Ye? I was like, well, I'm just listening to this music, Long story short, I end up telling him, he's like, man, what's your, I was like, man, I'm old school, I'm from Chicago. I said, you got people in common. I said, Tone B. Nimble name. He went crazy. That's my man, Yeah, and I was like, yeah, because, some Abstract Mind State. He said, wait a minute, Abstract Mind State? And he was like, and I was like, I knew what he was going to say, because everybody used to say the guy and the girl. I was like, yeah, the guy and the girl. He was like, yeah. I said, well, I'm the guy with the locks. He was like, oh, shit. He was like, oh, shit. Now, this is where the moment got real, when I had like my little wow moment. He was like really giving me a lot of love. Like, yo, y'all fucking legends. Y'all Chicago legends. I got all y'all music, blah, blah, blah. And Risky, the dude, went to his laptop. He was like, I got something you probably don't think I got. And he had It's Time to Party, bro. And
wow.
Like at that moment, I could have just cried or left. So guess what I did? I left. I was like, you know what? I'm out of here, because he was doing whatever he was doing, and that was the night, I think, that next night that they released Ecstasy. Remember, Kanye gave him Ecstasy to throw out like a little Lucy. That was that day. But he gave me so much love that I just wanted to leave with the love, because he was like, man, sit here, man, I'm finna make some beats and stuff, me and Ye, man, just chill. And I was like, no, I'm gonna let y'all do y'all thing. But really, I just wanted to leave with that moment. You know what I'm saying? I didn't, sometimes I don't have to sit there and just wear it out. I was like, no, you said so much cool shit to me. I just want to leave with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
That's awesome.
So I broke out. Yo.
Do you ever miss rapping? Like, do you ever miss being on stage, bro?
You know what?
I was just gonna ask that, though.
That's funny. I didn't for a long time until recently. you know, and I started remembering just how good I felt on stage. And as you remember though, man, we owned it. That's what they couldn't touch us, was live on stage. And
yeah,
I sometimes I do miss just, you know, rocking the crowd, man, and just you know, just controlling it. You know what I'm saying? Like a real MC, and just, you know, giving it to them. So I can say maybe as of lately, I've been thinking about the days of being on the stage. I hadn't for a long time, because I just kind of immersed myself in just, you know, developing and helping other people. And I wanted to create stars or help be a part of, you know, creating these next great individuals.
Yeah.
But yeah, lately I have been missing being on stage. Yeah.
So it's dope, because I was lucky enough back in the day to be on the stage when y'all would get on.
Yeah,
and I definitely miss going on the joint where y'all be like, oh, we got to do this one now. I'm like, yep. Yep.
Yo, man, that stage show was very explosive, man. That's the one thing I definitely can, you know, hold my, you know, hold in high esteem. And I know, like, if nothing else, man, we were some hell of a performers, and we gave a lot of shows. We did a lot of shows. We did more shows than the average, like, signed artist. You know, we performed a lot. So
you guys were everywhere. I've seen Abstract. Well, I've seen you
places, bro. And so me sharing this with you is to say that's what happened when I talked to Clark Kent, man. And then, you know how certain things, man, it may seem obvious, but certain like odd people, like he was a wild card to make me think like I did after, because it was like Clark Kent. Who would have thunk it? But when on that ride back home from Calabasas back to the west side of LA, all I started thinking about was like, wow, we really had an impact. Because, you know, New York knew us as much as Chicago. LA knew us as much as Chicago. Hell, Quebec, Canada, we was huge and had never been there, you know, and that was back when you had to go to be known. And the reason we were known in LA and New York is because we went out there, did several shows in both of those cities and tore it down. But, you know, towards the end, that's when the online magazines start coming in, and they used to cover our stuff. And so we Canada.
You guys also had, when We Paid, you guys also featured one of the first, very, very first Kanye beats that was out on a mass scale. I mean, outside of Gravity's record, I think then came Pain.
Yeah, and as I might have said on the documentary thing, I can proudly say at that time we paid him. We paid him. We paid him the most that any unsigned artist had ever paid him up until that point. You know, local artists or whatever, because, you know, we had won so many. We became known as the contest winners. It was funny about us as Abstract, because we were the group that was in the underground, in the raw, straight up underground, you know, lower links. What was Jesse De La Pena's spot called?
Blue Lounge.
Yeah, Elbow Room, all that stuff. Right, we'd go from all the Blue Groove Lounge, all these places. We would go to these. We would be in the most underground, spitting ciphers, freestyling, battling. But then we at GCI, so that's what separated Abstract Mindstate. Somehow we were, I wouldn't even say somehow. What it was I had so much game, because I was one of the first guys from the crib that got a chance to work at a real record label. I was working at Loud Records, so I brought all that game home and brought it to Abstract. So I knew how to work publicity and do all of these things. So we rode the middle, man. We was underground and above ground at the same time. That's what made us have such an impact, because, you know, the GCI listeners knew us, and then all of the heads and backpackers knew us. So nobody had really did that. You either was above ground or underground, you know. So
what's the deal with the backpacks? Was it just like, you guys want to do homework a lot? Like, what's that all about?
The backpack was definitely an accessory for hip hop, but we used to keep our, you know, during the golden era of hip hop, you know, we had a lot of stuff. Like, we would have our pad in there to write. We would have, like, you know, a hat, like all kinds of just stuff that, you know, you wanted to carry. You just
your Walkman.
Yeah, your Walkman, you know what I'm saying? You had some music in there. You had all kinds of
or if you was grimy, you had spray cans and
no, real talk. You had if you were to grab, you had your cans in there, and we kept.
You had some shit you racked up in there.
Yeah, I mean, man, just all kinds of stuff. So the backpack was significant, man. That was a key utensil for a hip hop head. Yeah,
and it's funny because in the early days of it's like the heads had like Timbos and a Carhartt hoodie, and then like a JanSport backpack, right?
Yes.
And then Kanye took and merged the kind of classic like them there style with the Gucci shit. Like he would bring in like the Gucci backpack now instead of the JanSport with the polo.
Right.
So basically what you're telling me is Kanye took the backpack to another level, and all the broke brothers were like, God damn it, Kanye.
and he
rocking that. I'm still rocking my Trapper Keeper.
And he mixed that Chicago preppy in,
That's right.
like though he mixed that like Chicago preppy was Gucci and
for sure.
all of the little polo and stuff like that, not just them there. But if you was from Chicago and you was on your preppy flow where where you wore the low and all of that stuff, the polo wears was a little bit more dressier than just sloppy. It was a little bit more fresher, and he mixed that in with high-end accessories like Louis Vuitton and Gucci and all that, and so it was like he brought a Chicago and merged it and created his own thing now, so man.
So I want to ask you guys something. It continues to pop up in like the world of hip hop, and I've been dying to get feedback from folks that have been here for a hot second, and now I go to ask the question and he pulls up. So I'm gonna so it's kind of like, okay, so what this whole thing that's happening between Eminem and Machine Gun Kelly, it's almost like,
here we go.
It's almost like the young bucks just don't respect the folks who brought us here, and I can't help but to think, like, could you imagine if name a band, name a new band, like imagine if I don't know, NSYNC, and I know that they're old. I'm just saying that they're raggedy compared to, say, the Rolling Stones.
Somebody's showing his age.
Imagine, right? I was like, I'm trying to pull someone up, and I just can't. I got no one right now. I'm like, insane because they're tacky.
You're saying if newer groups were to just completely disrespect in other forms of pop culture,
right? Like you would never see, say, 21 Pilots come out with a record that disses Rolling Stones.
That's not part of their culture.
Well, that's
what I was about to say. It's just part of the hip hop culture to bravado, being braggadocious, and being and edifying, being number one is just a hip hop thing.
Yeah, that goes back to like the late 70s, early 80s when people are battling and
I mean,
trying
MOD. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's
right.
That's
MC is a sport.
Yeah,
sport to a lot of people.
But I think that's different though. I mean, well, clearly that MC battling and taking your claim and ego and all that stuff is different than younger artists not respecting older artists. Those are two different arguments.
But what I will say to Carlos, that if you listen to the Eminem joint and you listen to the Machine Gun Kelly joint, Machine Gun Kelly really was kind of still giving, like, it just seems like he's a hurt artist from somebody he looked up to. So he was still giving Eminem props. But I mean, I'm not into his, like, I've never really listened to him, but I paid attention to his diss, and as much as y'all want to say that it wasn't dope, he really did his thing on it.
He went in on them.
It was, and he did it the way he should have. Like,
yeah,
he's not gonna beat Eminem. Like, he's not gonna beat, but it's really one of those hurt fans who he's a hurt fan, and that's kind of dangerous. You know what I mean?
Like when Tommy Gunn met Rocky Balboa.
Man, wow.
I'm old AF. I don't care.
That comparison, man. I was like, what?
Did you just bring up a Rocky 5 reference?
I did.
But no, I get where he was going with the question. Pretty much, I will say this just to deal with the question. The younger artists are a lot more disrespectful than the younger artists of the past, because now they kind of are not interested in knowing anything about what happened before them. The way the artists are now, it's kind of like, hey, it's us, we here now, everybody else old. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the attitude of the youth. I don't think it's the music, it's more the attitude of the youth. And when they do the music, or they could, rap or consider themselves part of hip hop culture, now it seems like hip hop is disrespecting its elders. But it's really, that's just the youth culture, because you can, all of us know we can go out on the street right now, man, and the kids, remember, we wouldn't even curse in front of old women. Or now these guys, man, they disrespect old ladies. Like, they don't care who hearing them. They'll tell a woman or elder to shut the fuck up, or just all kinds of crazy stuff. And that's just youth. The youth culture has gotten a lot more raw as we advanced, in like technology and evolution. So so when you put those same youth into rap music or hip hop culture, now that same disrespect happens.
I also kind of think.
I think that in some form of fashion, we as adults kind of did not pass the baton of hip hop down to the youth, so they don't know how to respect us in a certain way. And that's probably the biggest thing that I really love about our project that we have going on here, Midway documentary. This is us really trying to pass the baton of like, this is what we've done at Chicago to the kids who probably would want to learn what we've done to help them become who they are today.
And I will say this. So, and this isn't mean anything. It's not a fact. It's not based on any fact. It's just kind of opinion, and then just something to think about. When we were coming up,
don't validate your opinion. Just give it to us. We'll work through it. We're all adults. Come on, give it to us.
Okay. When we were coming up, hip hop was not ultra elite, but it was kind of elite. If you had a skill, you had to really actually be good, or you were shut the fuck out.
Right, that's true.
Now, you could come back, you could be whack and come back, but as long as you were good. And there was kind of like a front door. So, and there was a door and it was locked, and you had to show and prove. And that kept the cream of the crop. And that was for a long time. It kept people like the best of the best. Then now with the internet and everyone being able to rap and put their records out, I feel like, and I'm not saying we were right or wrong for doing that, and that's just part of how the culture was. You had to show and prove, and you had to be dope, or you just weren't going to happen. Right. Now, with everybody having the ability to record and do everything and be out there and oversaturate, they completely like, well, we don't want to be part of your cool hip-hop club at all. We're just going to do our own thing and fuck all y'all. And that's where I think that attitude came in.
Yeah, yeah. You know, just I'm kind of it's a comparison, but it's a little away from exactly what we're saying. But sure. I just want to give props to man. If you all remember, like I said, and when I say if, I mean I'm saying that just in conversation. The Abstract Mind State run, the artists that I look at now from Chicago, to me, that I feel either benefited from the, I guess, the evolution of the game and the way things change. and did it just like he accomplished what we were trying to do as Abstract, as Chance the Rapper. If you look how Chance does everything, do you remember Abstract, man? We were so independent. Like we did everything. Like, we were the ones that was trying, like when the deals were offered, we signed the most independent situation, like distribution deals, and like we were just trying to do everything extremely independent. We were just too far ahead of ourselves, and technology at the time wasn't available to us, nor was the game at that place where we could do some of the stuff that was going on in my head. I had so much stuff in my head. So when I watch Chance the Rapper and what he's doing right now, how many mountains he's climbed, like to get Billboard to recognize him when he gives his albums away for free. And Billboard is a magazine that they built off of sales. You know what I'm saying? So he's just, I mean, it's a whole lot of things Chance did, like, you know, that just broke all kinds of records for an independent rapper. And all that's the stuff I was trying to do. So I kind of smile at his success because that was, I feel like he's doing the Abstract blueprint. I just was way ahead of my time with that.
Sure.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's completely all about timing because you were, you know, and it's just certain limitations.
Yeah.
You know, it's 5 years later, it
Right.
would have been a completely different landscape.
And now everything changes so fast. You know, from a DJ standpoint, forever as a DJ, you can have a hot song and it could last a year being hot.
Yep.
The whole summer and through the next year. And then if it doesn't remain, you know, if it remains, it becomes what we'd call a classic. Now you have a week before a kid comes up and being like, this came out 2 weeks ago. Why are you playing this?
Right, exactly. You know what? I was just saying, I always use this as an example, and now I acquired some new information after watching the Bobby Brown movie. But I used to always use Belle Biv DeVoe as an example. I don't know if you all remember, man, but Belle Biv DeVoe rocked their first album for 2 years. They put 7 singles out, and they rocked it for 2 years, and it was still good to us. Now you know what I'm saying? Like you just was saying, Risky, you can't even go 2 weeks without them saying, okay, well, what else you got? Like, damn, my album just came out like last month. What do you mean what's new? What's new is the album, you know? And then now with Bobby, when I saw the Bobby Brown story, I didn't know this information, or I was just caught up in the time and didn't realize it. But did you hear when they said that album? I forget which one of them. He toured for 3 years off of one of those albums.
Oh, it's got to be the My Prerogative album.
Yeah, the one.
Don't Be Cruel.
Man, 3 years. Like he toured for 3 years off their record.
That's a hell of a run.
That's a run.
And the market wasn't saturated then, because that's when you would have, again, bring it back to R&B or hip hop. In a whole year, you would have 10 significant albums come out.
Yeah,
now,
true.
Every Tuesday or whatever release day, whatever. Actually, there is no more release days anymore. People just put shit out on the moment they make it. You have every week, you have 10, 15, 20 significant singles that come out. And again, it's so saturated that, you know, that goes back to the whole tangibility thing, like having something real. Like what I'm afraid of as an artist is, what I would be afraid of as an artist is, you put all this blood, sweat, and tears into a piece of art, and nothing's going to be classic anymore. It's going to be hot for 2 weeks, and then it's going to be, because it's not real, and I'm saying this, because it's not physical, it's actually not even real. It's literally ones and zeros. It doesn't exist, only in this phantom digital world.
Right.
Because it's not a real physical thing and it's not manifested in reality, once it goes away, it's gone forever. And it's in a pile of fucking, in space, in a fucking weird,
like a cloud.
Like a cloud, a black hole of digital music.
Right. Yeah, that's true. And one of the things you said earlier, you had said one of the things you felt like, you know, took away the rock star. Well, one of the things that took away, to me, that took away from good releases was, you remember we went through the era where it's normal now, the release date, man. Y'all remember, you used to didn't know the release date. You had to keep going to the find out when a record is coming out. And the only way you knew it was coming is because you heard a single. And they, you know, you're like, oh man, the new Rakim about to come out. I heard this song, you know, it was crazy. On HBK, I heard this joint. So you go into your record store every day, like, hey, is it new? They like, nope, not yet. You never knew the date. You know what I'm saying? And it's like they killed the music when they started telling you the dates, because now, if you remember on So What You Saying, when PMD said we dropped the latest LP, they thought we was fold. 30 days later, the LP went gold. So What You Saying? Well, that was a big deal. They went gold in 30 days, bro. Do y'all remember it used to take a year to go gold? Yeah. Artists used to work for a whole year, and to go gold was like a celebration after like 10 months of hard push. Then they finally hit gold. You know what I'm saying? So now and when I say they, this is how the record labels ate themselves up. They're expecting gold in the first week. You know, first 2 weeks, they want you to, you know, like Eminem is projected to sell 427,000 or 350, and it's like, man, what? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you want this blast that
and all these,
you know.
And Billboard's all fucked up now too, because it's funny because all these records that stood for like, and it's so weird, and it's throwing off the curve is so thrown off because like. And I'm not taking anything away from these new artists. I'm not dissing them or saying anything.
Right.
But you'll have a record that was held by the Beatles for 60 years, right? Or 40 years, whatever. And then 6ix9ine will come on. And because it's all digital and it's an album that's digitally released, meaning people are just playing it on Spotify, they're like, oh, he had nine songs on Billboard top 30. Well, yeah, because he just released a digital album and there's no singles. It's just boom, 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 boom. Not. You're not telling me that 9 songs are better than fucking
Dark Side of the Moon or something.
Yeah, or Thriller. You're gonna tell me that Cardi B is more important than the fucking Thriller record?
Right.
No offense to her. I'm just saying it's like everything is so massively skewed right now.
It's the algorithm that's all screwed up, because I also learned, I don't know if y'all gathered this information, but I also learned that a lot of the songs that's getting all this hype for how many plays they're getting on Spotify and all these places, only because they are part of a playlist. And they're saying it's not that that people are actually listening to that song. They'll be playing the playlist. And if your record is in that playlist, it's going to get that play. So what's happening is a lot of people are getting a lot of artists, not people. A lot of artists are receiving false information because they're trying to base maybe creating tours or various things off of these spins that they get on Spotify, and then they get out there and they can't even fill up a small venue for a tour, you know, in every city. And then they wonder, like, when the labels, the steal, and this is some label stuff, and they still wonder, like, damn, what happened? What happened? Well, what happened was you got a false sense of people really checking out your artist because they were just playing that playlist, probably for the first or the 5th song, and your song was somewhere in between there, and it just played, you know, and that counts as a spin. So that happened a million times, and it looked like you got a hot single, and you really don't.
It's hard, you know, like. That barometer is weird. I don't think they should have let it go, like let it count, because I think like there's something to say where someone actually physically purchases a song they want.
Yeah.
Because just, you know, again, it's weird. It's like counting radio plays as being, you know, like back in the day, especially heavy in the payola days, someone could have paid to have 1 million radio spins. That doesn't mean the public likes it.
Right, exactly. We just been programmed. Like, that's why, to me, this whole program director and all of that stuff, that's actually a real thing. When they say program director, like, oh, we got somebody directing our programming, because after you hear this song, you know, 50 times a day, eventually you start singing it, and you might not even like it. I know all y'all have done that before. You don't even like the song. You know, it's just in your head because you've heard it so many times throughout the day that, you know, by the weekend you singing the hook and you like, oh man, I don't even like this artist or this song.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And another thing
as a DJ, that's a thing.
All right. Right. I know you deal with it on the hardcore side being a DJ, because now, you know, these programmed individuals running up to you. And I remember though when the DJ, your job was pleasantly to introduce us to the new shit.
Teach.
Right.
That was our job. We were teachers.
Oh, those days are gone because fuck. I mean, you can't go into a place and be any faster than anyone with an internet connection.
Yo,
Right.
this is the normal gig on the weekend. Like, hey, can you play this song? If I have it, you don't have Spotify. Can you just play it from my phone?
Right. Right. They just took the
Right.
whole art of DJing away from you.
Wait, right.
Yeah.
Or you could carry your raggedy ass home and listen to it on your own damn
Or
stereo.
go outside and take a smoke and put it to your ear.
You know, another thing that's kind of lost too is the album versus like just a
versus
single.
singles.
Because you know, back in the day, you would say nobody would really say I like this song. You would be like, oh, I love the Paid in Full record.
Right.
You
Right.
wouldn't say I Ain't No Joke. You would say
Like
I love the Paid in Full record.
yeah.
That's not a thing anymore.
No,
Like
it's not.
people would listen to the record front to back and then enjoy the story and the way it was presented, because there's a lot of, and from an artist standpoint, there's a lot of art that goes into the order of a song.
Yeah, the sequencing is very important, you know. Yeah. As a matter of fact, it's been a few records that, okay, for example, okay, so I love, like, just using Jay-Z as an example. I love the Blueprint, right? Totally didn't like the Blueprint 2. I didn't. But what happened was I listened to it years later and I was like, oh, it wasn't that the Blueprint was bad. It was sequenced bad. It was so many songs. If you remember, that was a double album.
Yep.
It was so many songs that the way the songs were coming on, and I was just like, oh, it just wasn't resonating with me because it was the sequencing wasn't. It looked like that record didn't sound like they took time to sequence it. Am I right though? Like the Blueprint 2, and so it's just a lot of good songs in the wrong
I hate
place.
the double album era anyway. I think I don't think there's ever once been any double album that's been any good.
Wu-Tang Forever.
Wu-Tang Forever is not that. There's about half that record could be gone and I'd be happy with it. It would be a classic if it was half.
It would rival 36 Chambers if they cut it.
It was half. No.
Okay.
Wu-Tang Forever.
Well,
Yeah,
the only double
Forever might be my last
this,
Wu-Tang.
that's dope. That's super dope. That you can't deny is Love Below and Speaker Box.
Oh well, yeah, but look at what it was.
Yeah, but that's not a double album. That's two
Good call,
individual
Tony.
artists releasing an album together.
It was a double album because it was Outkast, but
No. I'll go ahead and fight for Doe on that one. It was a double album. It's just that they, in typical Outkast form, they did something so freaky and they made it like his album, my album. But it was their group. It was actually a double album.
yeah, it was a double album.
It was a double album. But I know what you mean.
That's a little hazy, but
Don't you hazy me.
that might
I'm
be
in Risky's hazy camp for this one.
that might
That
be
was-
an exception to
That
the rule.
was when
You probably know why.
Fake
I'm gonna
news.
tell you why you're in Risky's hazy camp.
Why?
Because the thing is that I think that some people they split Andre and Big Boy apart anyway. Like and I always put them together. Like honestly, really, like that album made me think like they could still be Outkast but be separate.
Right.
And I mean I consider it an
They
Outkast.
both
And
had
as dope
different
as that album isn't even close to Aquemini or it's not even in the same fucking conversation as Aquemini and
I would
ATS.
Southern Playalistic,
for me.
Aliens.
I
It
would
is the bottom of the list for me.
I would disagree, bro. I think you need to go listen to Speaker Box and those are two great. I mean,
I'm
Love
not
Below
saying
is
they're
undeniable.
not good.
Love Below is
I'm just
undeniable, but
I'm
Speaker
not
Box
saying they're not dope.
super
I'm just
crazy.
saying- I'm not saying they're not dope. I'm just saying they're the least dope out of all the
Who are
albums.
you? Okay.
He's not saying that they're not dope. He's saying that they're shitty.
Yeah, I think what we're saying is, I think the concentrated effort is pretty much one album. When you start getting to too many, the double and triple albums, all that, it get crazy because didn't Chris Brown release like an album with like 40 songs or something, or 30 or 40 songs?
Yeah.
I mean,
I think Drake just released one too.
Yeah, that's just too many songs. I feel like if they just pick they dopest, like, I don't know, let's go back to Nas and give me 10 songs, or you can even do 11 and just pick the best ones. And that's what, okay, you know, and like I say, not to bring the homie back in the conversation, but he's always somehow a conversation. That's what Ye is doing with these 7 songs. He's trying to turn 7 songs into, like, you know, we know legitimately 7 songs is still an EP, but he's turning them into releases. Like, I'd rather do like 2 or 3 7-song joints than just hit you with 14 songs and he's just trying to play off of the attention span. I'm just sharing all the insight of it.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Yeah. The record we just did, I would not allow it to go more than 30 minutes, period, no matter what we did. I don't care if it was 20 songs. The whole album has to be done in 30 minutes.
And that's what he was on. That was good you said that, because it wasn't so much that he was so caught up in 7, it was more caught up in the time. And 7 is around, you like you said, it can be 30 songs, but if it's 30 songs and the album end up only being 30 minutes, you did good. You know what I'm saying? But when it's when it gets to be a, you know, hour and a half, when your album becomes a movie. Well, like,
people don't have time to listen to that. See, and that's the thing. If you think of all the great hip hop records that we love the most, they always tend to be on the shorter side.
Yeah, they were. Some of the best records were just, you know, maybe
Illmatic is a half-hour record.
Wasn't Illmatic like 9 songs or something like that?
It's and 2 of them were basically like glorified, like their interludes. Basically, it's basically an EP.
Okay, so I'm about to stunt for a minute. So when I was chilling with Oz, talking to him about Illmatic, I had to stunt right there. No, but yeah, when he and Oz, you know what I'm saying? No, but. No, but honestly, I'm telling true story. So I got to ask Nas a question that I always wanted to ask about Illmatic. And I said, hey, man, when you did Illmatic, was it only 9 songs because of publishing? Because, you know, you guys know that, I don't know what it is now, but you used to
not to interrupt, can I make a guess at that? Because I want to say that I heard a story, and I don't want to. I just want to see if I had heard right, because I remember this. Wasn't it that didn't they kind of rush it out because it started getting leaked? People were like stealing it from the studio.
Well, no, that wasn't the reason he said that happened. He said that it was 9 songs simply because he felt like he got out everything that he needed to say in those songs. And he straight up told me, he said he was going for the throats of everybody at that point. He said he studied. He said he really studied everybody, including his friends that he was cool with, and he was watching what everybody did. And when he started telling me, I realized, wow, all of the best records were out right before Illmatic. Like, if you go back and remember when Illmatic was released, and he said, I just watched what everybody did. He said everything everybody did wrong, or he felt like where they missed the spot, he covered that area. And he did it 9 songs, and he was like, I got it. And that's why, because he said he wasn't even thinking. I thought it was a publishing thing because they only pay you for 9 songs. Everything over 9 was you're just giving your fans or your support base some candy, but he said that wasn't it. And I thought that was why he did 9. So it was interesting just to hear that story and to hear, like, from him what he was thinking at the time. It was very strategic, man. He said he just wanted to rip cats' heads off pretty much, and he was able to do it. Like when he knew that was it. He said he just knew that was it. It wasn't even necessary.
1994 was a great year, and I'm going to tell you, I think it's the best year for hip hop for me. Me, again, all this stuff is relative to people's opinions, right?
Right.
For me, and again, it's all where you were and what was the moment in life and everything. For me, 94 was the most important year for hip hop for me, period. A lot of us. I will say Resurrection is as good and as important as Illmatic. To me, Illmatic is not better than Resurrection. I'm not saying Resurrection is better. I'm saying they're equal.
Oh man, Resurrection. Listen, man. Resurrection was so skillfully executed. To me, that was one of Common's most you want to talk about just being lyrical. He was at his most lyrical during Resurrection because he played with the wordplay was so stupid on that record that to this day, I'm still catching stuff. Like, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, that's what he's okay. You know? So, yeah. So I can agree that Resurrection was just as compelling to me as Illmatic. Definitely, you know.
For sure. Well, it should be for Chicagoans. It makes sense because we can relate to that. That's our Illmatic.
Right, exactly. And it was just as perfect too. Like, you know, Nas to me made a perfect album with Illmatic, and Resurrection was a perfect record. You can listen to that top to bottom, and he just killed everything. You know,
Resurrection is absolutely 1000% as far as hip hop goes. Perfection.
Yeah, it was perfection. It definitely was. And
Rakim hasn't made a perfect album.
But Common did. Yeah. And I was, you know, and just speaking on that whole Abstract Mind State, we were Abstract Mind State during that time. And man, Resurrection, I'll never forget, my buddy worked at Relativity. So I got an advanced copy that I still have that wasn't even the actual, it was a tape. It was the case was like a printout, like it almost looked like they printed it out. Remember, it was just like black and white. It was just black and white. You know, it was from the label though. You know, it was black and white, and the music was on a tape, man. Because my guy worked at the label. It wasn't even the studio. It was like a tape, and I kept that because I knew one day it was gonna be. But and that was so special the day I got that piece. And I still bought the real one, but man, when I got that advanced, that extremely advanced copy, I was so excited over that, man. And me and EP probably wrote 20 songs listening to Resurrection. You know.
Yeah, Illmatic's perfect. That's a perfect record. Ready to Die is a perfect record to me.
Yeah, Ready to Die is definitely one of those ones, you know. And
there's not a lot. I could probably only think of about 10 records, maybe 15 if I really dug deep, that are perfect records.
Yeah, I would like to say EPMD first album was perfect. You know, Strictly Business, wasn't that the name of the first one? Yeah, Strictly Business. Yeah, that was they put that a nice piece of work. You know, most people first or second record was some of their best work as artists. I think
the score is pretty perfect too.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and that was their second record. So that's why I say in most cases during that era, it was either your first or your second record that was your best.
Because you either put everything into that first album, or you developed more on the second one because the label actually gave you a chance to grow.
Exactly.
And quite honestly,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
But Low End Theory and Midnight Marauders both are perfect, and I think those might be the only artists with two perfect records.
Yeah, they did. And Don't Sleep, man. I loved the first album. You know?
The first album was
I love the first album too. It's amazing.
You know, the first album, a lot of people don't mention it because we always go right to Low End Theory and Midnight Marauders because those were so groundbreaking with the sound. But man, honestly, man, that people's instinct, travel in the past of rhythm, man, that joint was sick, man. It was crazy. Like, I don't remember a song I didn't like on that first record. So, and it was an introduction to something so new at the time, you know.
I think it honestly really created hip hop culture for us. Like, it was like a start of things. Like,
it was definitely
we wasn't super weird until we heard that album.
Exactly.
On the West Coast, would you guys put Bizarre Ride as a perfect record? Because that could borderline.
We got 100%. 100%. Bizarre Ride was definitely. Yep. You know. Whew, man.
Are you just going to keep popping in with different records throughout the rest of this show?
Stop, because I'll come to my
Yeah.
I want to. Go ahead. Did I cut you off?
I was going to say, I wish y'all could have heard. Doe, did you ever get the advanced copy, or did I give you one? That I wish I could have heard like Steel Pan, our second album that never came out. That was what I like to call a multi-million-dollar album that never came out, because to even do that album at the time we did it with the people we had on it in the production, that album would have cost us about $2 or $3 million just to record. But, you know what I'm saying? But I did it off of relationships. But everybody was on that record. I mean, you know, Kanye at his height, he produced 2 songs. And he rapped on one that he didn't even produce. He didn't even produce the song he rapped on because he liked the track. It was an Absolute track. Y'all remember Absolute?
Yeah,
he was dope. But then Banner and Kamikaze was on it. We put Crooked Letters back together on that record. Like, they were broken up at the time, but they both featured on the same song, and we purposely made it like it was a Crooked Letters feature, like just out of some cool. And we had Consequence on there. We had 88 Keys produced on there, and he was at his height with music, all the stuff he was doing with music, Soul Child and Jill and all of them. And man, it was just that was an album for us, just
Common.
talking. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, duh. Common was on it. Yeah. Common was on it.
I got the record.
Right. Okay, you did, because I know a few of y'all did get it.
Yeah, you gave me the album like when you did it years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Because we gave advances to certain DJs, and at the time, all of the magazines and blogs was just really getting in at that point, and everybody got it. So we got reviews and stuff, but it never came out. That was one of those records. I think one day I'm gonna put it on like SoundCloud or something, so people can at least hear that thing.
It's dope. Hey, I don't mean to cut you guys short. I actually have to bounce, Ryan.
Okay.
I
have to bounce. I have to drop out, Greg. Breathe.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, we're about to go to this or that anyway, so let's.
No, hang on, because I have
Carlos has a question.
So real quick, I actually have to bounce. So I'm gonna bounce.
We're not keeping you from closing the browser.
Peace be to bro.
See you later, my brother. Bye. Great. I'm sitting here and I'm just listening to you talk, and with all the people that you've worked with and everything that you've done. Have you ever sat in a room by yourself, or even as you're telling stories, and you reflect and you say, damn, I just said that? Like,
yeah. I did that a few minutes ago when I was joking with y'all, and I said I'm about to stunt, and I said, yeah. So when I was talking to Nas, because those moments, like, honestly, I have so many unbelievable moments that I barely can talk about what I've done or what I'm doing, because it sounds like the biggest lie ever. So I find myself, man, only talking to, like, very close friends that know that I did it or was with me, or I just don't say nothing, and or stuff will come out, like in these moments, like when you guys, want to talk to me and I do an interview, then I get to say all these amazing things. But yeah, man, I'm gonna have to say, yeah, I do that a lot, because I'm blessed and fortunate, but most of my life is like it's been so over the top that it sounds fake. And sometimes I have to laugh at myself, because the amount of people I've touched, how, the people I've been fortunate enough to befriend or become associates or work with, it's like, I don't want to be gone before all of this stuff comes out. I'm hoping I'm put in position to be able to share much of this stuff as possible while I'm alive and breathing. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm one of the people from Chicago, man, that, I always laugh and call myself the most known unknown. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm that guy that was once in front of the camera, but for a long time now I've been behind the camera. And man, I done touched a lot of people, and it's just hard to even talk about it, or I sound like I'm bragging or lying. Mostly it sounds like I'm lying. So
yeah,
just so you know.
Yeah, because I'm just sitting here. I'm literally a fan of every album you guys just got done talking about, every one that you guys just brought up, and I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I'm normal, and I get to talk to you about this stuff.
Right. Right.
And it's cool. Like, okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and just jump on and kiss your butt a little bit. Thank you for everything you have done. Thank you for being so cool and not being too big to come and be a part of this.
No, man, I appreciate it. I'm thankful that people like you all still even remember or care about or actually think it still matters that I'm involved or touching so many people or being a part of these things, because I just do it for the love. And like I say, I look up one day and it's just like this interview, I just found my Doe reached out to me, and I'm like, yeah, of course, because I always got something to talk about, because I'm always doing something. You know what I'm saying? So That's the cool part. But
and you're a perfect example of why we want to do Midway, why we are doing Midway.
Right.
Because like the people that know who you are, but we want the people that don't know who you are to know who you are.
Definitely. Right. Definitely. Look, I'm definitely one of Chicago's unsung, so to speak. I have this idea for a mockumentary called Out the Frame, the making of a star behind a star. And what that means is it's a mockumentary because I want it to be kind of funny, like I'm joking on myself. But it's so much footage that we have of me in some of the biggest situations that you guys know, that everybody that's seen on TV through other documentaries. But if the camera would just pan over a little more to the left, you'll see me sitting there. So because I have the footage, I want to eventually do this mockumentary where when you see this moment, like, I don't know, like we'll say like when Kanye was freestyling or kicking a verse for Mos Def in that little tight hallway, where what happened after he finished, the camera literally pans up and I say I'm up on some stairs and I'll be like, yo, y'all sleeping on Kanye? And I was talking all this crazy stuff, but it's not about me. So I'm out the frame. Right. So that's why I said it's going to be called Out the Frame, the story with the making of a star behind a star. Because there's just a lot of moments like that with me, with a lot of people where I'm there, it's just that the camera didn't get to keep going, but we actually have the footage so we can show you once they go past that moment.
That's great.
Yeah.
Hey, I know some people that'll help you out.
Yeah, okay. Right.
There's one guy, he might be busy. He's busy like directing a documentary, but I'm sure he'll make some time. He's got this brown fella that he always drags with him everywhere.
Yeah, man. But no, I appreciate it though, man. It's a lot going on, and I will say this. I got some surprises for y'all that's not worth me speaking on right this second. But man, it's gonna really blow y'all away. And though all y'all gonna be smiling and laughing like, this son of a bitch, he could have said that, but I'm just not gonna say it now.
That's dope.
And just say I got some surprises.
We like surprises.
Yeah, so I just leave it like that.
All right. Cool.
Yeah.
Carlos,
sir.
Is it that time?
I think it's that time.
This or that. This or that. This or that. This or that.
Who wants to start?
So I'll do an easy one. He was talking about Gre was talking about your collector of tapes.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say cassette or vinyl.
Cassette, man. I'm a cassette collector.
My
like how many cassettes do you have?
Oh my goodness. I may have, it's thousands. I have.
Oh, get out of here.
Thousands. I have.
How did I not know this about you?
I literally have thousands of cassettes. Ask Tone B and all of them about my tape collection. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, thousands of cassettes. I to this day, if I come across a cassette, you know how you go in truck stops or something weird like that. If I see a cassette I didn't buy, I get it. You know what I'm saying?
That's dope.
I've got a classic Chicago one here for you.
Ah, the old man joint. Yeah. Yeah, man.
Do you have this one?
No, I don't have that. I don't have.
I've got a sealed copy for you.
Oh man, dope! Please hold that one for me. I love sealed copy. I still have sealed copy, like records like Tupac and all that kind of stuff. I have them and never opened them because, to be honest, I wasn't like the biggest Pac fan. I used to be a Pac single fan. Like, I like the singles, the songs, but I wasn't like a Tupac head. I was more of a Biggie guy. So, but I bought the records and I never really opened them. So I still have a lot of cassettes that's unopened like that one that I'm gonna hold you to make sure I get it.
Ask Answer 13 who her favorite is between those two. That story's funny AF.
Word. Word.
I got one real quick.
Yeah.
Inglewood with an I or Inglewood with an E?
Oh man, it's always Inglewood with an E, man. That's what made me be able to survive Inglewood with an I.
Great answer. Great answer. Artist or producer? Like a Mike, MC or producer?
I'll say MC. I have to lean more on the MC. You know, that's why that's where it started for me. So, you know, MC. Yeah.
I don't know if Risky had one. He didn't say any before he left.
Yeah.
Man.
I have another one, but okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Harold's or Roscoe's? That was the
This sounds difficult.
Okay, oh man. Okay, put it like this. I'm definitely gonna go with Harold's. But what make you pause is, man, it depends on what you're looking for, but I gotta go with Harold's though. As a matter of fact, we were just home like last week working with Chance or whatever. And as soon as we landed, Ye was like, I want to go to Harold's closest to wherever we going. And I just started laughing. I was like, yeah, I know I'm back home. When we, you know, and we went in Harold's and we ate in Harold's and sat in there. That was the craziest part. And people were so inspired. Crazy. You know, that last trip home was great for the homie because people were so inspired, man, to actually see the love with my own eyes that he received just being there. Because it was a homeless dude. I'll never forget. I've told this story to people, you know, close to me. I said, the most amazing part that let me know about how our city is, man, what Chicago is the homeless cat. When he saw Kanye, he said, oh, yay, man, good to have you home, man. You got to come home some more, man. Just good to see you. And I was expecting him to ask for something. He didn't ask for anything. He just was just happy to see him and said, glad to have you home. And at that point, I knew if a homeless guy is happy to see him come home, I realized the level of inspiration and what we've done as a team how much it matters to the city. So, you know. Yeah.
Dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I'm not gonna lie. At every last video that you know GCI put out, that Power 92 put out, all of those, I was watching those, and every time he shouted out Doug Inf, I was grabbing that video, posting it, and saying, Doug, look.
Yeah, man.
I do got a challenge for you because Doug DJs at this place called Little Skillet in San Francisco.
Yeah,
their chicken. It might not be Harold's, but their chicken is
popping.
Yeah. I tell Doug that I go to visit him, but he knows. I go for the chicken.
Nah, that's you know, some good chicken is always a good thing, you know what I mean? But it's definitely more of the waffle at Roscoe's than the chicken.
Yeah.
It's more about whatever that taste is, that we can't figure out what that flavor is. You know, some people say nuts, egg, and cinnamon. You know, we say a whole bunch of stuff, but whatever it is, that's a delicious tasting waffle, boy.
If it's just chicken,
it's sprinkle crack.
Yeah, right.
If it's just chicken, I'll take Harold's. But if I want chicken and waffles, they're hands down Roscoe's.
And you took okay, Doe. So let me clean that up. That's what I was doing, Doe. When I paused, that's what I was thinking. Like if I just want chicken, definitely Harold's. You said it best, Ryan. And if I want chicken and waffles, it's definitely Roscoe's. And I see the Harold's, or the one we went to, because we happened to go to the one behind Columbia. Boy renovated it. Is big now. Yeah. And, and I actually had to perch, so I didn't get any chicken, which I get next time I come home. But the point is, he sell waffles in there. He got chicken and waffles in there. Freaked me out. I was like, whoa, what's going on? I was like, Harold's got waffles, Yeah. So anyway, that's that, man. But I appreciate you.
We'll have to hit that one up, Doe, when we do more interviews at Columbia.
Yeah, we should next time.
Yeah.
And it's big. It's big. He renovated. It's not small anymore. It's big and clean and nice, you know, in there. So
Okay.
No, and Joe, when we get you out to LA, we got to go see that Roscoe's.
Oh yeah, because I've never been. So,
and then when you guys come to the Bay, we go see Doug and we go get some chicken and waffles out here.
That's right.
Man, that's what you do. Got to get you some Roscoe's though. Real talk. Just to experience that waffle.
Cool. Well, Gree, man, thank you so much for taking the time with us. Sorry we had some technical difficulties to start, but
thanks for having me, man. You know, like I say, well, you know, I got some surprises for y'all, and y'all gonna probably have me right back on this thing once y'all find it out. Like, how the hell?
Spoiler alert, we'll have you back at any time.
Yes, you and all the other guests are always welcome. But yeah, if you got something, let us know, man. If people want to see or you know, keep up with you and what you got going on, where can people find you at and catch up with you at?
Yeah, they can catch me at Olskool on Instagram. They can catch me at Olskool, and that's OLSKOOL _ Ice-Gre, ICEGRE. That's on Instagram. For Facebook, it's just Olskool Ice-Gre all together, OLSKOOL ICEGRE. And then on Twitter, it's the same as IG with the little _ in between Olskool and Ice-Gre. So yeah, that's how you get me, man. Honestmanagement.com is still popping, you know. So there it is.
Cool,
Yeah,
cool.
buddy.
Doe, where can people check you out at?
people can check me out at Instagram and Twitter at DJ SEANDOE, and on Facebook under my name, Rasan Shondo Hawkins. And I would like to say, I think tomorrow we're gonna release DeRoe's first mixtape for so he allowed me to have his discography, and he wanted me to do some mixtapes for him. So I think tomorrow we're gonna release the first mixtape out of that patch of discographies.
Dope,
So,
dope.
Yeah, be looking out for that. Cats that was on that, it's Urbanized Music, Larry Miller, Juice, Nimbus, and Rita J, Daily Planet, Greenweeds, Low Try Do, and a bunch of other people. Actually, Paraplegic MC, rest in peace, and also Payroll, rest in peace, is on this mixtape. So yeah,
Payroll and DeRoe work together, huh?
Yeah.
Payroll, wow. DeRoe, man. DeRoe. I mentioned Lower Links earlier. DeRoe was the one that did the Lower Links.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I think we're gonna release that tomorrow, and then we have a slew of remixes that he did for just a bunch of people like Nas and just, you know, like remixes like that were dope that I'm working on that currently right now. So yeah, be on the lookout for that.
That's fresh.
Dope. Carlos.
You can find me at coconutjustice.com, Coconut Justice everywhere else. And if you find me on Instagram, you're gonna be able to see this one right there. Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
Everyone who comes on gets one of these. And,
I see a backpack.
Hell yeah. I'm assuming you can tell me if I'm wrong. I'm assuming this is what it looks like when you go to make music in Wyoming.
Yeah, that's about it. Yeah. That's about it. That is about it. Depending on formula too, but yeah, that's it right there. That is definitely it.
Cool. And then anybody can find me at Twitter and Instagram, 278 Media. The number is 278 Media. And Midway, follow us, Midway Doc on across the board. Midway Doc, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, website. Check out our YouTube channel for the vignettes and other videos that we have. And I will say that next week, who do we got next week, Doe?
We have the illustrious DJ.
I was trying to think of a good adjective. Go ahead.
DJ Sean Dervis.
Oh wow, Sean Dervis. He used to get me right at the Azuli. You remember Azuli? They had
Azuli, yep.
Yeah, he used to spin in there. That's when I first got on to him. I was like, man, who is this cat playing the right records?
All the time. That's a really good way to describe Sean Dervis. He always plays the right records.
Yeah, that's how I met him. Because we was after. I was like, yo, who is this cat? And it wasn't our normal, like tone or I was like, who is this cat? He playing the right records, like Yeah.
So we got Sean Dervis next week, and our first announcement for October 1st, our October 1st show. Jeez. Our October 1st show, we have somebody who is coming out of retirement. I believe he's going to have a project drop that day. The legendary E.C. Illa.
What? Yeah.
Yo, it's strange you would say E.C. Illa, or I shouldn't say strange, it's poetic. E.C. Illa just friended me on Instagram today.
That's dope.
Crazy. So that you would say him of all people. Because I looked, I was like,
he wants to make sure you download that album.
That's dope. That's dope.
Cool, yeah. I tagged him in the post for tonight. I'd like to keep all of the friends of the show up to date with who we got on. So that's dope.
Man, we was of that same that era, Ill State, Abstract and Ill State. Yeah. That's what's up.
And shout out to some people watching tonight: GJ Phonetics, Shazam Bangles, Howard Bailey. Howard Bailey wants to know where you got the wood paneling behind you.
Hey, tell him I got it from him at the Row Record Store. I've been waiting to use it for the longest. That's the homie right there. Oh man. Too many classic gentlemen around this thing.
Cool, man. Well, yeah. Again, congratulations and everything you got going on. You're obviously always welcome back for anything else in the future. And dude, this has been fun. So, man, thank you again.
Hey, man, thank you guys. Peace, peace, peace.
Peace.
Abstract Mind State to the death.
Word up.
Boom.